Hey guys, welcome to my Reacts segment. Today we're going to be continuing to react to Bricky's every single Warhammer 40k faction re-explained part 2. We are just about to learn about the fucking orks. Good, you fucking get. So grab some food and make it comfy because we're about to make some war. I can't be that loud. I'll be more obnoxious, but, you know, I can't be that loud. Alright, let's get this off. Boop. Let's go.
Savages, yet they have already figured out the questions of the universe. Their numbers are uncountable, their technology incomprehensible, and yet their violence is so very green. I am, of course, talking about the
You know what I never got? I mean, this... Is it legit because of Warhammer, is where the accent comes from? Because I never actually got that confirmed. Is that legit where the accent comes from? Or is that like a... I don't know. Hopefully you explain it.
The orks are the pinnacle of creation. For them, the great struggle is won. They have evolved a society which knows no stress or angst. Who are we to judge them? We Eldar who have failed, or the humans on the road to ruin in their turn? And why? Because we saw answers to questions that an orc wouldn't even bother to ask. We see a culture that is strong and despise it as crude.
Okay, that is a really interesting way to look at it. The Eldar think them advanced. I mean, because they actually are. If we remember, he's probably gonna go into it. But like, they were made. They were also made by the old ones as like a, you know, like a warrior race. So they must feel like at least a little bit of kinship with them, maybe. And that they're like literally so... I mean, they literally say... I mean, like the law says they devolved, but... The fact that like some Eldar actually admire them because they literally do not care about anything else other than war. Intriguing.
During the war in heaven, the old ones were doing their best to spawn as many combatants to their
Okay, I legit thought those were eyes for a second.
Cause as possible by seeding the galaxy in a specialized sense. The Eldar were made to be a precise and tactical species to fight off.
Yeah, like a sword, like a katana, honed like 1,000 times to be, you know, expertly precise. The orcs are like a sledgehammer. Bonk.
The Catan and the Necrons, but another prominent species was made by them as well.
I've heard of this place. Their sausage rolls are apparently a peak.
The Gork were warriors clad in ornate...
I mean, sidetrack. I did actually have a sausage roll today while I was at work. For like ages. I mean, it was decent. No. I'm partial to the old sausage roll in there.
Armor with more dangerous weaponry. However, things changed, and these warriors changed, and the Gork are no more. They are now known as the boys, the lads,
The boys.
the mates, the orks, 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 orks. And
Yep. Yeah. Can you please tell me, like, does like the whole British kind of fucking, does that come from Warhammer, or does it literally come from somewhere else? Because your boy don't know. Your boy likely don't need to know, but your boy is interested, right?
an ork in 40k looks like an ork in most other fantasy media. Hulking, warlike monstrosities with
Yeah, it's just like, you know, slightly more metal.
big teeth and worse attitudes. However, unlike the more Tolkien-esque forms of the
Dude, whenever I've seen these, hang on, whenever I see these, I always think they literally like replace their jaw. No, his jaw is still there. He just literally bolted it on top of it. You can eat twice as fast as you have like 2 sets of lower jaws, man.
these creatures, the devastating nature of the orks is in their biology. Unlike most species in the galaxy, the orks are actually a type of fungus. This fungus itself comes in various forms. The small goblin-like Gretchen and snotlings are a part of this fungal ecosystem as well, and also the squigs, which can be used for basically anything. But
They're a fungus. They're a fungus? What?
regardless of what is a part of the fungal system, all of them are born from spores that land on the ground and grow. As they travel around the galaxy, they drop spores literally everywhere, and then an ork dies, and they drop tons of fungal spores that allows for their numbers to be replenished over a period of time.
So, well, I suppose that explains why there's like so many of them. So they're legit like walking forms of those like puffball mushrooms that I've seen around. They're like, you like slightly touch them and they just like they go and like okay.
Because of this, orks are not only extremely prominent across the galaxy, but they are exceptionally resilient due to their growing cycle. Even if one ork lands on a planet, it will be nearly impossible to get rid of all of the ork presence unless the planet itself is completely destroyed. And even then, they might find a way to survive. Due to their fungal nature, orks don't really stop growing. And the more long-lived an ork is, the bigger they get. And the more an ork fights, the bigger they get.
Wow. So they're basically a crab. Or like a crustacean. They literally cannot stop growing until it like gets to like, you know, as soon as they get too weak to actually shed their own skin, because it takes a tremendous amount of energy, they just die during that. But orks just like grow and grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. Wow. Based, actually.
Of course, since they're constantly getting into scraps, an orc's lifespan isn't necessarily that long, so the bigger orks are harder to find. Though alongside this, however, they are a tribe-based species that is comprised of warbands, and the biggest and the strongest ork leads the warband known as the warboss.
Obviously, bigger and stronger mean more killing, right? You're gonna hear this accent a lot. once you start, it's hard to stop. All right, it's very addictive.
At the bottom end of the orc tribal system are the Gretchens and the Snotlings.
You get
These members act as the servants and slaves of the orcs, and sometimes their actual ammunition, despite being
based.
smarter and more cunning than their bigger brethren. Because in orc culture, the biggest is the boss. The smallest gets picked on and thrown around. Beyond the war bands and the tribes, orcs also belong to a specific clan. Tribes constantly shatter and rebuild, but the clans do not. They are, in a sense, a psychological state of being for any given orc, and gives an orc their specific character and traits.
I suppose that does make sense a little bit. Because it needs to have at least, like, some structure, because this is inherently part of a game. So, yeah. How do you play an orc? Just be orcish. Yeah, that's obviously not enough. You need like some see this guy right here, that's basically like a fucking biker, like a modern day biker. Just the fuck, no, it's like a biker but like crossed with like one of those like those guys on the scooters, like the mobility scooters. Just oh no, it's the trike that you like sometimes see. Yeah. Dude.
And to make things easier, these clans are also color-coded. So that's very easy to tell what orc does what. Though
oh, I didn't see. You fucking.
these clans are also color-coded. So
I do like how he tried to do like the British thing, you know, cross the Saint Andrew, cross Saint George, fucking dragon, the Welsh. But I don't think he knows Ulster, so he just picked up the. I don't know what this is. Yeah, because it's like Northern Ireland, Wales, Scotland, and England. Yeah. For reference, the one for like Northern Ulster is like, it's like a hand, like in the middle of like the cross of St. George, just for future reference in case you need it.
that's very easy to tell what orc does what. Though
Team
there
number
are
4.
many clans out there, 6 of them are the most prominent and well known. The Bad Moons are essentially the merchants and have a lot of money because their currency is teeth, and they grow teeth faster than any others. The Blood
I was about to rag on them for that, but like in Fallout we use bottle caps, so
Axes are the stealth units, and by stealth it means like slightly more quiet than the others, and they have a love for LARPing as humies. Death Skulls
you gotta have a hobby, I guess.
are the scavengers, and the Goths are the close.
I'm sorry, man, but
And they have a love for LARPing as humies. Death Skulls are the scavengers.
I know what you're trying to do there. You fucking oh, I forgot what they're called. Yeah, the like Celtic fucking like, you know, Wallish kind of bullshit.
Scavengers, and the Goths are the close combat specialists. And on the two ends of the spectrum, we also have the tech-savvy Evil Sons and the more traditionalist and tribal Snakebites. Another major facet
Ooh ha ha.
of orcs is their religious beliefs. They believe in 2 gods, Gork and Mork.
Oh, okay.
Gork is cunningly brutal, and Mork is brutally cunning.
One more time, I don't think I understood that. Hang on.
Gork and Mork. Gork
Yeah.
is cunningly brutal, and
Cunningly brutal, and
Mork is brutally cunning.
Mork is brutally cunning. I know it's supposed to be a joke, but like, why do I weirdly understand this? It's like a yin and yang kind of bullshit. Every orc is also cunningly brutal and also brutally cunning in like equal amounts. You must find the balance in between your Mork and Gork. What Mork and... Sorry, what are the names again? Shit.
It's Gork and Mork.
Yeah, you must find your balance in between your Gork and Mork. Only then you will become truly orcish.
Gork is cunningly brutal and Mork is brutally cunning. The difference between them, according to orcs, is that Mork hits you when you aren't looking and Gork hits you when you are. There's a lot of
Yeah, exactly.
confusion as to which one is which, and this results in a lot of infighting. In other species, this would be considered a sort of religious conflict, but for the orcs, it's just another excuse to fight.
Yeah. I mean, I love how I instantly turn into like a Taoist fucking bullshit thing. I'm just like, nah. They're just trying to agree on which one's greater, so they constantly go to war over it. Oh, okay. Wait.
Quote here, but I don't really do a good orc voice, so I'm going to get my co-host of That's Ridiculous to read this one, and I'll try to lip sync it.
Oh, he's more cunning in a grot and more killy than a dread. The boys that follow me can't be beat. On Piscina, we jumped the Marine boys, and our boss pose was covered in the helmets we took from the dead-ends.
I could probably do like a pretty good like orcish, but I'm very tired. And also I have neighbors and roommates, so I can't be like that boisterous.
We burned their port and killed their bosses and left nothing but ruins behind. I'm Warlord Gezgul Mak Urukdraka, and I speak with the word of the gods. We's gonna stomp the universe flat and kill anything what fights back. We's gonna do this because we're orcs, and we was made to fight and win.
This fucking sounds terrible. Fighting is the biggest aspect of orc culture, and is essentially their life's purpose. They are genetically hardwired to get into battles and scraps with enemies that can feel pain. The more they fight, the bigger they get. This, combined with them getting bigger over time, means that some of the biggest and baddest orcs of all time have been notably gigantic. The Beast, as he was known, was about the size of an Imperial knight. If an orc runs out of other enemies to fight, they will immediately start infighting to scratch the battle itch. For example, in The Warp, a planet exists where a band of orcs are in a constant state of war and battle, and have been for an improbably long amount of time, strictly because how much Khorne enjoys himself watching it. For some, being trapped in a perpetual war planet for all eternity would be a fate worse than death, but to the boys, this is heaven. In the event of a particularly big battle, a massive amount of tribes and warbands will unite under what is known as the Waaagh. The concept of a Waaagh covers a few bases. The first is the group aspect of the massive green tidal wave of orcs fighting for the same cause, the cause being the second base. But the most prominent aspect of the Waaagh is the psychic aspect of it. Remember how the old ones made the Eldar and all the Eldar are psychic? Well, the orcs are too, kinda, but just not as much. Only a little bit of it.
This is like the only other thing that I knew about Warhammer beforehand. One is that sometimes the Space Marines can like actually ingest the brains of people to gain intelligence. The second one is that orcs are like a little bit psychic, but it's like only affects them like slightly, so that whenever they go into like a big group, they can, if they believe something will work, it works. It's super fucking funny, man.
And they often don't know how to use it and frankly don't care. But a huge gathering of orcs generates a psychic field that allows orcs to be more organized, dangerous, and dedicated to the war-based cause. However, the true extent of the psychic energy and its usage is relatively unknown, but that doesn't matter considering the outcome 90% of the time. In a similar sense, their ragtag technology and weaponry is also a mystery to most who encounter it purely because of that Waaagh energy. The technology the orcs use seem to be held together with duct tape and plastic glue, and crude doesn't even begin to describe it. Their guns seem to have an inordinate amount of ammunition and firepower, and they are seemingly able to put things together on the fly in the middle of combat. The Imperium is of the mind that the orcs' weapons and machinery only work due to their innate psychic ability, but realistically, orc gear hardly works in the first place. Weapons blow up in a Bugs Bunny-esque manner all the time, and their war buggies can collapse in the middle of battle. Just because it works a handful of times does not mean it's an effective weapon. But this doesn't stop the orcs and their green tide. To really understand the power of the Waaagh energy, orcs can operate purely off of belief. Now, a misconception is that orcs believe something is real and it happens. But that isn't true.
Oh. Okay, ignore everything I just said. Fine.
Because that's just one orc. However, there's never one orc. There's normally a few billion orcs together, and if they all believe something is true, the warp will tend to respond with a positive green light. Sometimes. Do the red ones go faster? Well, with enough orcs, yeah. How does an orc buggy with an engine block that's just a boulder with vroom vroom written in chalk work? Who cares? Orcs breathing on a ship with a hull breach? Go ahead. An orc went back in time to kill a version of himself so he could have two of his favorite weapons.
Wait. So, wait. Wait, an orc went back in time. Like by accident, but he met himself, but he killed his younger self in order to have two of his favorite gun, and the universe was just like, you know what, fuck it, I'll allow it. Fuck causality, I has two of my favorite gun, it's that's so good.
It is shenanigans. Because of their actions and aesthetic, the orcs tend to be presented in a comic relief sense in a lot of media, particularly the media from their perspective. They are bumbling and loud and goofy British football hooligans, and they say silly things and act in silly ways. But to the citizens of the Imperium, the orcs are far from funny. They are violent and irrational creatures that take humans for punching bags, slaves, or ultimately dinner. They have no moral compass and are violent and brutal killers that know nothing else.
Okay, so I was right. They do eat humans. Okay, cool. I was kind of like iffy on that point, but yeah, cool.
They are genetically designed to be a violent species that was capable of beating back the Necrons and the Catan. And if the orcs were ever able to unify under one banner, they would be utterly unstoppable. However, due to their aggressive nature, their organizational skills are non-existent, and they tend to just beat each other up for the fun of it. All that exists in the mind of an orc is fighting, and nothing else. If they wipe out their enemies, they will inevitably wipe themselves out as well. They are a brutal Ouroboros doomed to an endless war cycle, but to an orc, why does it matter? If they fight and they win, they win. If they fight and they die, it was a good fight. Now that the Xenos armies are growing in strength and more are threatening the safety of the Imperium, they need to bring new methods in order to handle what they are currently facing. The Emperor is on the Golden Throne. Half the Space Marines are traitor and they are beset from enemies within and without. So now the Lords on Terra must prepare for anything possible, and sometimes the impossible. For that, they take to the stars to explore and expand. They recruit assassins for priority eliminations, they train a galactic police force and a secret police to root out any and all heresy. The lesser known, yet most feared,
the Agents of the Imperium.
I carry with me an inquisitorial seal. It is a small, unassuming object contained in a neat box of Pluvian obsidian. It is a modest thing, relatively plain, adorned with a single motif and a simple motto. Yet with this little object, I can sign the death warrant of an entire world and consign 1 billion souls to oblivion.
There was a game that I have explicitly been excited to actually play. Because and it like focuses around like one of these agents. I can't remember what they're called, but the game's called Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. It's literally just like, you know, you like assemble like a bunch of like ne'er-do-wells and they help you on missions for the Imperium. The only catch is we all know how it's going to end, because some of those guys are Xenos, and yeah. Let's not get too attached to them. But it's been on my drive for a little while, so yeah. Kind of excited to play it. I will eventually play it. Eventually.
Where the Imperium may see its justice dealt out by the hands of its armies and the gauntlets of its Astartes, when one needs eyes, ears, or both cut out, it looks to the agents of the Imperium. In a meta sense, these agents are a homogenized version of multiple factions from the original video 5 years ago. They comprise multiple aspects of the wide and all-encompassing armies of humanity and serve different roles. Whether it be the law enforcers of the Adeptus Arbites, the void-faring explorers of rogue traders, the
they are literally called rogue traders. Okay, cool. Great.
The invisible hand of the Assassinorum, or the hospitality of the Emperor's Inquisition.
Also would.
Each has a part to play in the God Emperor's domain. Rogue traders are a great example of a somewhat undiscussed part of the Imperium, its nobility. While you may see the General Imperium as a totalitarian hellscape, because it is, this is to those under the boot of the nobles that run it.
Yeah, this is like gameplay from Rogue Trader. It's I really want to play this because the guys who made this game, they're making the Expanse game, Osiris Reborn, and I kind of want to get like you know, notes with their pedigree and see how they do things before the game comes out. Yeah.
Rogue traders are a special kind of explorer, and their existence is extremely important to the function of the Imperium. A rogue trader is often an extremely special individual and is given the monumentally sized warrant of trade, allowing them to be given almost complete and utter freedom. Their task is simple: to chart the uncharted, learn the unlearned, and do whatever they can as an explorer and conquistador for those back on Terra. This information is, strictly speaking, invaluable. Whether a sector can be settled and colonies built, or precious rare resources exist on a floating asteroid can be mined, or a long-lost Imperial world from the Age of Strife is recovered, it's all absolutely imperative. These rogue traders are faster than any other kind of Imperial armada, and therefore chart the direction of the entire society. Because of this, rogue traders are given a substantial amount of freedom. They have a ship and a crew of specialists, and can do things that would see any normal person shot. They can barter deals and even recruit Xenos races. They can explore areas strictly prohibited, and they can earn a vast amount of wealth and riches in doing so. This tends to make rogue traders a very long lineage, and their heirs take up the mantle of their house.
I'm seeing parallels with Exodus a little bit, because this is exactly how their explorers work, like the guys who actually go out on the Exodus. Like you should read the books. I've got like the first one on my shelf at the moment. I can't remember what it's called. Hang on. Where is it called? Can't see it from here. Anyway, they're like really good. I hugely get used to read them, but like in that they actually describe that like the main character of the actual game, they come from a lineage of like actual explorers, because they're like the only ones who can like do like, you know, forces beyond their control or whatever. The ones who usually go out and get really rare stuff usually get rich because of it. Though I suppose it's like different with these nobles, because they're inherently like superior by blood, quote unquote. Whereas if you know, if like a regular guy can just like earn enough money or like resources to actually buy a ship, then you could like literally start one of these like bloodlines that they say. It's a little bit of an interesting, yeah. Also, look at the fit of this guy. It's immaculate. Jesus.
By being explorers, they become fabulously wealthy, and some can become quite the assholes while doing so. But truly, much like a night pilot, a rogue trader is an exceptionally rich individual who can back it up.
Yeah.
They are master swordsmen, explorers, merchants, settlers, diplomats, and everything in between. They chart a course, and they set the grounds, which means they will need someone to defend them, and the prime choice for that can be the Adeptus Arbites. Now, the Arbites are cops, Judge Dredd-style cops, as their inspiration clearly shows. Each planet will have their own members of local law enforcement, and most of them will settle many of the issues there and then. But when something requires a far more in-depth peacekeeping force, the Adeptus Arbites are brought in. Think local police versus the FBI. Arbitrators in the Arbites tend to focus heavily on stopping crime before it can become too much of a threat.
Good pre-crime. Love that shit.
A criminal gang or heretical uprising can be subdued quickly and efficiently by utilizing them and dealing with soon-to-be criminals, as they put it. They will tap into communications, create spy networks, do
I mean, guilty until proven innocent, am I right?
interrogations and sabotage.
I mean, the opposite. Innocent, no. No, I had it right the first time. I'm good.
Anything that helps the good of the Imperium and the law they see.
I'm sorry, robot dog. Robot dog. Robot dog. That's fucking sick.
To preserve. The Code of the Arbites is laid out entirely via the Book of Judgment, a gigantic library of pages showing every single law from every single High Lord of Terra in the history of the Imperium.
Holy
because
God.
the Imperium is so vast, hundreds of laws are added every single day, and the library continues to grow with more and more laws and judgments.
So, I'm guessing there aren't any lawyers in Warhammer 40k? Or if they are, then they would be kind of heretical. Because I can't think of, like, anyone biological who can, like, store that much information and keep up with it.
While Arbites themselves carry a small version called the Book of Law on their person, this does end up creating a system where the unjustly prosecuted will never escape their prisons. If an innocent is wrongly convicted, any form of legal counsel will need to go through the Book of Judgment to help get you out. Often these prisoners require hundreds of years of litigation, in which they will eventually expire before they can be deemed wrongly convicted. Innocence is irrelevant. You have been judged guilty of transgressing the Lex Imperialis. Do not compound your guilt by evading punishment, as there are greater crimes, so are there greater sentences. Of course, should something go out of the hands of the Adeptus Arbites, there is always the silent hand of the Officio Assassinorum to take their place. Naturally, the Imperium has assassins, and these assassins are sent to dispatch important figures that would not normally be handled by simply sending waves and waves of guardsmen at it. The Assassinorum is headed by the Grand Master of the Assassinorum, who is a High Lord of Terra and perhaps the shadiest individual in the entire galaxy. At his disposal are multiple types of assassins that all specialize in various things. Their training is extreme and absurd. Aspirant children are often subjected to Hunger Games style combat with each other on the ride over to the temple. Then you get low gravity, high pressure, traps, horrendous physical and mental strain, and everything in between. Then their minds are wiped completely and the real fun begins. An Imperial Assassin is nothing to mess around with. They are some of the fastest moving and hardest hitting things the Imperium has at hand and can go toe to toe with Space Marines depending on which temple they are from.
Dude.
Some, like the Vindicares, are master snipers who lie in wait for weeks, days, or even months.
Those would probably be my guys if I were to pick one from the Officio Assassinorum. I like sniping. In fact, one of my favorite gaming memories, I'm not sure if I've shared this on the channel before, but one of my favorite gaming memories is, I'm not sure what game it's from, but I distinctly remember being holed up in a house surrounded by, like, snow, and, like, picking people off with a sniper rifle, like, had no, like, scope or anything, just, like, iron sights. And to this day, I mean, I've kind of gotten better at it now, but, like, I used to abhor scopes on sniper rifles. Only to realize that I never really... Every freaking sniper rifle came with a scope, and I just kind of accepted that was the norm, but... If you guys know Seymour Haya, the White Death in, like, World War II, in the battle in the Winter War, I'm basically that guy, except less coked up. I mean, at least in games, though. Only in games. Yeah. I'm like, yeah. I haven't tried if you could, like, actually, because, like, I have, like, some Sniper Elite games. I need to think of if they can, if they can actually function and, like, snipe without... That's something I need to look into.
just to get the perfect headshot from 5 kilometers away and disappear. The Calidus Temple are masters of shape-shifting and take a drug that allows them to transmute their body into whatever they see fit. A confidant of a target may be killed and they will take their place before killing their target outright. Or they could shift into a member of a Chaos Warband with symbols and flesh and all that to earn the trust of a cult leader before slitting their throat. The Caluxus Assassin is a psychic blank, a soulless mutation, making them appear as uneasy to normal humans and downright disgusting to psychers. When a powerful psyker is causing issues, this is who you send. Their specialized helmet enhances their already latent powers and will allow them to all but drain the souls from those they touch and their very body. It is an extreme weapon used when a direct
I'm sorry, that bike helmet just like screamed to me like like, I'm special, I only wear a helmet. Because I am afraid, my mom is afraid that if I get dropped on my head, that I will get hurt. So I wear the helmet and it protects me. I know that kind of remind me of that, like, I wear the helmet because I'm special kind of shit.
Pressure must be applied to an otherwise untouchable psyker. Now, if you needed direct pressure in a more literal way, the Eversor is for you. A drugged up comatose psychopath that is directly dropped on enemy lines and allowed to wreak havoc, killing anything and everything it sees in a blaze of movement and blood before it inevitably dies and causes a plasma explosion on its demise. There are other temples as well. The Vanus Temple, acting as sort of like a cyber hacker. The Venom Temple, specializing in poisons. But all...
I'm sorry, that's like a cyber hack temple? Okay, no, that's my favorite. Dude, I didn't know there were net runners in 40k. What the hell?
All in all, assassins move with their skin-tight body gloves with a speed unmatched and force unexpected. One of the best assassin novels puts a Vindicator Calidus and Vanus to infiltrate a night world, kill the High Monarch of the Night, who is permanently stuck in his giant robot knight, install a new ruler in his stead, and make sure nobody knows the Imperium did it. Their missions are insanity, and their tasks impossible, and they do it anyway. Thus is the power the Assassinorum wields. We do not determine the guilty, we do not decide the punishment. We are merely the cold instrument of the Emperor's vengeance. There is no form of death unknown to us. There is no form of terror beyond our means. There is no enemy outside our reach. We are the blade that hovers over the throat of the traitor. We are the bullet that awaits the heretic's skull. We are the poison in the throat of the alien. However, despite the prowess of the traitors, the police, and the assassins, there is one that stands above all. As the Imperium settled into its post-Emperor world, they needed a force to root out corruption wherever it could be found. But they needed specialized individuals who could do so. Men and women who would serve as detective and executioner. This new secret police would have unlimited authority, and they would be known as the Inquisition. Inquisitors of the Inquisition are one of the most feared individuals in all of the galaxy for the common members of humanity. Trained in the most difficult of conditions and mental hardening, they have long closed their minds to the compassions of those they deem guilty.
Also, they have the most immaculate drip known to man. Look at this bullshit, like... I'm like... It only just clicked to me, but like... Is this hat modeled after like a Puritan, like, I've forgotten what they're called. But you Americans probably know what that is. It's like a... It's a... It's the one with, it's like the super tall hat with the white brim and like the belt buckle. It's like that shit. It's basically space fantasy version of that. I just realized.
Inquisitors are, for the most part, detectives, but they are detectives whose authority is unmatched and actions justified by the state itself. Similar to the KGB, the Gestapo, the Stasi, the OVRA, but unlike those organizations, the Inquisition has far more authority and is one of the only types of individuals who can commit exterminatus, the term used for the utter and total destruction of a planet that is no longer deemed usable by the Imperium. While it is a very exciting word and a commonly notable thing done in Warhammer, exterminatus is not actually used particularly often. It's a last resort entirely meant to stop the enemy from gaining a major foothold or spread even more corruption. Even with a million worlds, the wholesale slaughter of an entire planet is still a massive blow to the Imperium.
I mean, yeah, if you have a million worlds, like, a planet is still a planet. Some monumental amount of resources to just decide, nope, you're literally destroyed.
Inquisitors range quite a bit, not just in how they operate, but also in their personalities. They are often main characters for a large amount of books, as detective noir is a great genre, and they can be the most stone-cold killer or a pragmatic and...
I'm sorry, who the frick is this guy in the background? This guy looks baller as hell.
sympathetic individual depending on who they are. Radical Inquisitors may utilize methods unlike most of the Imperium, such as alien tech or even demon hosts, where Puritans stick closer to the methods of the religious state and shun any deviations. They also specialize in various aspects, as the Inquisition has orders or ordos, such as Xenos for aliens, Malleus for demons, and Hereticus for, you guessed it. Truly, if you are a normal citizen of the Imperium, a person flashing an inquisitorial rosette in front of you may be one of the most terrifying moments of your entire life. It is the same as an FBI badge or a KGB member, except now you're in Warhammer. So, their authority and
it's like 10,000 times worse.
Agents of the Imperium are vast and offer a ton of different concepts to the world of Warhammer, and they continue to expand as the Emperor's descent into the Golden Throne has lasting effects on humanity. As time progressed, a few people seeing the Emperor as a deity made their voices louder, and over a few thousand years, worship of the Emperor was not only considered expected, but state mandated. This church will be known as the Ecclesiarchy, and there were many who would look to the cardinal position and make desperate grabs at their power, leaving horrid effects on the populace. The Age of Apostasy was a time of reformation in the Imperium that saw its eventual change into an overtly religious empire. During this time, an all-female warrior cult to the Emperor called the Daughters of the Emperor
Third time would
were a bit more isolated from the wider Imperium. However,
so much wood.
As the Ecclesiarchy began to take root, one Gork Van Dyer became
figurative and literal.
The High Lord of the Administratum and noticed these warriors and felt they could be useful to him. Gork himself told these warriors that he was the voice of the Emperor himself and demanded they fire upon him to prove it. Having a little hidden force field that this warrior cult had never seen before, the bullet bounced off of him and showing him to be unharmed, truly blessed by the Emperor. This cult became known as the Brides of the Emperor and acted as his personal bodyguards and aides. However, Gork Van Dyer was a tyrant.
I know I shouldn't be thinking about this, but the Emperor is literally a rotting corpse. How would you aid that? Nope. I will put that on my mind.
His horrendous reign spelt ruination for the wider Imperium, which made the Adeptus Custodes take notice. Despite an outright coup and revolt against him, the deadlock was getting steep as the brides of the Emperor's fierce combat skills kept him safe. One custodian made contact with the leader of the brides and brought her into the throne room of the Emperor himself. Nobody knows what transpired in that room, save for Alicia Dominica, the custodian, and the Emperor himself. However, she left the room with her hair bleached pure white from the interaction, marched her battle brides directly to Van Dyer himself and said, "You have committed the ultimate heresy. Not only have you turned your back on the Emperor and stepped from his light, you have profaned his name and almost destroyed everything he has striven to build. You have perverted and twisted the path he has laid for mankind to tread. As your decrees have stated, there can be no mercy for such a crime, no pity for such a criminal. I renounce your lordship. You walk in the darkness and cannot be allowed to live. Your sentence has been long overdue, and it is now time for you to die."
Some of these quotations, actually no, most of them have been absolute bars. I need to investigate some of these for like monologue material. These are all like bangers, absolute fucking bangers, man. Dude.
Despite not having any time to die, Doge Van Dyer found some time to do so. With his head lopped clean from his body, the brides of the Emperor were no more, and the ecclesiarchy signed a document to stop Van Dyer's reign from happening again. They would no longer be allowed to have men under arms. Men.
The Adeptus Arbites, and that is where we leave it for today. A little bit shorter than my last one. Also, great pause face there, Bricky. Anyway. Hope you guys enjoy this little react from me. We will probably... It will probably be about... Yeah, like one more part, and then we will have finished the entire thing. Afterwards, I have something special planned. It's going to be a little bit experimental, but yeah, I think you'll like it. If you're excited for that, please like, share, and subscribe. If you enjoy my kind of content, I mean, the buttons are right there. Just press them. It's fun. Anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, wherever you are. I've been Purist, signing off.